All right, you're on.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Today we are going to hear how to build a profitable online course. The highest level of learning is to teach someone else. In this talk, Sarah Lawrence will introduce a proven 8-step strategy to create the right course or courses to add profit centers to your core business, access higher level clients, and increase your position in the marketplace. Courses become self-sustaining, ongoing ways to brand your business and add to your revenue. Sarah Lawrence is an award-winning speaker, writer, and organizer of TEDxTenayaPaseo. Hope I said that right. She is a master communicator and collaboration ninja, masked as a mom of 6. I like that. Over the years of her career, she's built over 300 public speaking stage opportunities for experts in different niche markets. She's worked with everything from personal development, health, nonprofits, and all the way to marketing, tech, and business. Recently she started playing all in with what it means to help people live big and spread their message in a big way. She believes in helping people find their story, their message, and helping them make the impact they have always wanted. Please join me in welcoming our speaker today, Sarah Lawrence.
First and foremost, thank you so much for having me. I love talking to groups like this because you meet just the most amazing people. And I'm going to talk a little bit about serendipity and how I really believe in this idea that you trust in the universe. And this is how you meet people, right? It's not just about networking. It's about how do you show up in the world? How do you reach out? How do you really provide for other people in a way that they will provide for you too? So before anything else, I have tons of gratitude for you guys hosting me today. So thank you. I do want to go ahead and share my screen. There we go. All right, so today we're going to be talking about how to build your online course. And the formula that this is all based around is called Ultimate Course Formula, which makes perfect sense. How to create your online courses in 60 days or less with Ultimate Course Formula. So I have something for everybody, and I'll give it to you at the end of the PowerPoint. It's the ultimate toolbox for creating and selling online courses. We have put together this fantastic guide that has everything you would ever need to create and sell your online course. This has been years and years and years in progress, different equipment that we've tested, different platforms, everything you would need. So look for that link at the end. I'll drop it in the chat box. I use this all the time. In fact, just earlier on the call, we were talking about microphones, and some of the microphones that my team uses is also in this. All right, a little bit of housekeeping. Of course, you're all professionals, and I know you all know how to do this, but I cover it anyway. Please turn off distractions. I actually go in and the best that I can on my Mac sometimes rebels and shows notifications anyway, but go in, turn off any notifications, anything that's gonna make sounds, anything like that. Please be prepared to take notes. The reason that I say that is because just in my presentation alone, people have taken 5, 6, 7 pages of notes as we go along. I'm also going to give you a link that's going to give you more information at the end. So it will be a full webinar, and it will explain further on what the information I'm giving you today. Just in the 40 minutes I have, I'm not able to cover everything in depth. I want to give you a really good overview, and then I'll give you a link to a webinar that will explain more in detail to really get you up and off the ground. So this is some pictures from our company and some of our students and some of our events. If you look in the center of every picture, that is Amana Guy, who owns and is the creator of Ultimate Course Formula, which we all absolutely believe in. We've tested this with him, and these are just some of the students. If you look, I'm in the bottom 2 pictures. I'm not in the top picture. So we get together, we have fun. This is all about how you take your passion, your knowledge, your expertise, you put it into a digestible form to not only create a different profit stream, but also get that passion and knowledge out there. So this is Helen Chang. Helen Chang does how to write and publish your book. Now, the reason that I talk about her is because there are so many people in this industry right now, especially currently, who are helping people write and publish books, who are teaching people how to write their book, how to get their story out there. Do you self-publish? Do you get a publisher? What do you do? How do you get on Amazon? How do you become Wall Street? There's so many people in this industry right now. And the most amazing thing with Helen is she took Ultimate Course Formula and she was able to really make herself stand out in the industry. With the first launch of her course, she generated $45,000 and it was extraordinary. She is just such an awesome example of how you can really stand out in your industry. Okay, so a little bit about me and how I kind of got here, because that's really important. I believe, it said in my intro that I've started playing all in and getting people out there in a big way. I really believe that number one, you are where you're supposed to be. And number two, your story and who you are is your journey. It is everything that you do. It's your passion behind your business. It's everything. So more importantly than anything else, I always wanted to be on stages. It was my happy place, right? I'm actually an introvert. No one ever believes me, but I am. And being in groups and small talk has always made me really uncomfortable. I don't know what to say. I'm a little awkward. I drop things. I say weird things. But when I'm on stage, all of that disappears for me. And so I always wanted to travel and I wanted to be on stages, and I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know how to get there because I came from a traditional family. My mom was a hairdresser and my dad was a cement mason. And they worked very hard their entire lives. And that's what I was taught. You pick a profession, you work 40 to 80 hours a week, and like that's your life, right? So now I want to be on stage, but that's not a job. So what am I going to do? And I really struggled with this for a huge part of my life. And then I had a mindset shift several years ago when I was a stay-at-home mom. I needed more, like we needed more income, but I needed, like, there was something missing. There's something missing in my life and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. So I took a second and looked at my past. What are the jobs that I did have? What was I good at? What did I love more than anything? And I came back to two things. Number one, I loved stages. And number two, I had been in aquatics and I was a competitive swimmer for 10 years. I knew how to teach swimming and I knew how to prep kids for swim teams. So because of those two things, I realized, well, what if I launch a swim business, right? Like a swim school. And so I launched my swim school, and it went from one client to so many clients that I was working 12 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that happened in like 3 months. I mean, like overnight, I was so booked, I didn't know what to do with myself. And all of a sudden, I had an income and I was doing something I loved, but now I was away from home all the time. Like I never saw my kids. I went from seeing my kids 24 hours a day to literally never seeing them. So again, I was like, okay, there has to be something here. I know that I can take this model and I know I can do something with it, but I don't know what. I don't know how to make this work, right? So, and I'm also playing with this idea that I want to be on stages. I want to be on more stages. I want to be talking about my passions. I want to go out there and spread my message. So I start connecting with everybody in Las Vegas that I can, that number one, owns a small business, or number two, is somehow connected in the speaking world. I come across a man who becomes my speaking coach at the time, and I start working with him, and he offers me a ticket to an event in San Diego. Now, even working as much as I was, we had 6 kids. We still have 6 kids. Ignore the past tense. We have 6 kids. And even working as much as I was, we were really not financially secure at all, right? So I'm offered this free ticket to this event. And I knew I had to be there. I knew there was something there for me, but I didn't know how I was going to get there. Even if the event was free, I still had to pay for gas. It was in San Diego. That's a 5-hour drive. So I still had to pay for gas. I still had to pay for my hotel room. I still had to pay for food. I had no idea how I was going to do that. On top of that, we were in Girl Scout season. Now, I don't know how many of you have kids or ever had a Girl Scout, but we were in Girl Scout cookie season. That is like a whole different ball game. It literally took 4 adults to cover me that weekend. I have some amazing friends and a very supportive husband, but I left for the event. I figured it out. I got coverage. I figured out the money and I got there. I was watching every single penny I spent. I was super careful about everything. So day 1 of the event, I'm super excited to be there, right? I'm like, this is it. I'm gonna like leave my swim school behind and I'm going to be like this amazing speaker. So day 1 of the event is awful, so bad. Have you ever gone to an event and you're like, how did this host even get here? Like, what is even happening right now? It was literally that bad. So now I have spent money I don't have. I am frustrated and I'm angry and I'm like, maybe I should just go home and call it a weekend. But here's the thing. You ask any mom with kids, what's their away and they have a reason to be away? Like, it's vacation, right? Event or not. So I'm like, it's fine. I'll hold out. I'll just finish out the event, right? Like I can tolerate a bad event. I have a hotel room to myself. There's a pool. This is going to be awesome one way or the other. So day 2 of the event, they go to bring on the guest speaker for the event. Now, I actually have no idea at this point in time how serendipitous this event is going to end up being. I'm sitting in the audience and the main speaker goes to the stage and she says, for the next 90 minutes. And my first thought is, I have to listen to somebody for 90 minutes? Why? Why? Who's talking about what for 90 minutes? And what universe is this happening, right? So now I have this internal monologue happening about like who's speaking for 90 minutes. So she introduces Aman, again, who is the creator of Ultimate Course Formula. She introduces Aman and he starts talking and it is magic. Have you ever looked at someone while they were talking and thought, wow, this person is the energy I want to be around? And I watched his entire talk. It was 90 minutes. He was actually explaining Ultimate Course Formula. I took pictures of every slide. I took 20 pages of notes. I wrote everything down. I was on my phone making notes. Like, I was a crazy person about this. Truthfully, I was taking in all of the information. I was going to figure it out. These courses was going to be my way out, right? I was going to take all of my knowledge, all of my passion about swimming and aquatics, and I was going to turn it into a course. And then I realized that the end of his explanation of the 8 steps, which we're going to get into, he made an offer. And it was not an expensive offer, but it was an offer I could not afford, right? So I'm like, this is fine. I have so much information here. I can do anything with this, right? And so I left day 2 and we go into day 3 and there was a speaking contest and, you know, it was fine, but I couldn't get my head out of the space of courses. What could this possibly mean for me? So I come home, I'm driving home to Vegas and I'm like, I have to reconnect. I have to reconnect with this man. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I just know like this is my space, right? So if my slide, wow, my slide will go, right? So I realized at this point that every rule I'd ever gone by, every part of my journey that I thought I was in step, I had to throw away because I was about to take a major, major risk. And if I was going to take this risk, I had to not only like bend the rules, they had to be thrown out the window. So I go home and I Facebook friend him on. Like, I didn't even talk to him at the event. I was that weird stalker person who was like, I like you, let's Facebook friends. And he accepted. And that was even more shocking, right? So now I'm watching him and I'm watching the business and I'm following what's happening. In the meantime, I'm making connections. I'm joining Toastmasters. I will be a Toastmaster for life, by the way, side note. I'm joining Toastmasters. I'm making connections. I'm talking to speaking coaches. I'm running my swimming business. I'm trying to put it all together. I took the 8 steps of Ultimate Course Formula. I put together a course for parents to teach their kids water safety, right? It's somewhere between, when you teach infants, that's actually a certification course, and swim team prep. So I put together this course and I was like, yes, I got this. I was so proud of myself that I was able to take all of this information. I'm doing all of these things. I'm not making any money yet, right? No money yet, but I'm doing all the things that I feel like I'm totally on point and I feel like I'm totally on my path, right? And then I wake up one day and I realize that again, I am working all of these hours, like all of them, and I'm not getting paid what I should be getting paid, right? So then I was like, okay, this was me. I misstepped somewhere. I have all the tools I need, but I'm not making any money. And the number one, write this down for yourself somewhere, somehow. The number one biggest mistake that any entrepreneur can make is not making money beyond anything else. Worst mistake. And I paid for it for those first several months. So I'm like, okay, I went back and I revisited all my slides. I revisited all the steps. I went back and I looked at my tech, right? At this point, I had run my beta course and that was it. And I was so scared to ask for money. I was so scared to ask for money, but it was something that needed to happen. So I launched my course with a very small group of parents in my community. And that actually ended up being the last course that I ran, because you see, about a month after I launched that course, I didn't even have time to get to my event. By the time I launched that course, Amon had posted on Facebook that he was looking for an executive assistant. And until I launched that course, I had no background in marketing, none. I had no background in marketing. I didn't know what a swipe copy was. I didn't understand how to make partnerships with people. I had none of that, right? And I had worked in nonprofits. I had done this. I'd created stages, but not nearly what was needed at that level. But I had all the soft skills, and I'd been building those soft skills for years at that point. So I applied. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to get it, but that's fine, right? Like, what's the worst case scenario? I don't have the job now. If I don't have the job then, like, nothing changes in my life. I just keep going with my course and it will be okay. So I went through 6 weeks of interviews and tasks and projects, and I ended up getting hired. Now, the funny thing about this is that at that point in time, Amon and I had never had a conversation. We had never, like, he didn't really know anything about me. He knew who I was when I showed up in interviews, and that was really about it, even though we had been Facebook friends for a while and I had watched him talk at the event, right? So he had no idea who I was. I just had taken all this information and I was super excited about it. And I was hired, my first day was Valentine's Day. And I was hired as an executive assistant for Success Road Academy, not even for him, for Success Road Academy. On Valentine's Day was my first day. Within 2 months, I was his executive assistant. By October that year, I was operations manager for Success Road Academy. And currently, I'm operations manager for Success Road Academy, his executive assistant, and I help start up every single company that we buy, including a nonprofit we just bought into. So when I say that showing up in the world and believing in the universe and making connections is literally the foundation for everything else, I absolutely mean it. That event changed my life, and my ability to create a course from those 8 steps and having that confidence to say, I'm going to apply and we're going to see what happens, absolutely changed everything I did going forward. Everything that I stepped into, I had to do with faith and curiosity, because I had no more rules. I had no more guidelines. It had to be all faith-based, and, you know, let's see what's going to happen. So these are the 3 questions that changed my life. And as you're going in to build your course, it's important that you keep these in mind as well. The reason is because as an entrepreneur, things change, things don't work. Things aren't going to be exactly as planned. We can give you a roadmap, which has been proven to work, but your implementation of it matters, right? So these are the 3 questions that changed my life, and these are the 3 things you really need to look at going forward. So what changes if you don't get your desired outcome? Here's the thing, literally nothing. What do? You take the feedback. You take the lessons that you have learned and you go back and you do it again. What changes if you do get your desired income? Your entire life can change like that, on the, you know, just drop of a hat. Everything you think your life is right now can change. And then who are you if you do what you're capable of? So often we make choices out of fear, right? And during my story, I talked about this a little bit, right? I was scared, right? I didn't fully step into who I could be or who I was because I was scared. But who will you be if you do what you're capable of? If you take your knowledge, your passion, your expertise, and put it into a platform that you can make money with. So this is my life purpose, and this is really important because I'm going to show you Aman's life purpose as well. This is what drives everything I do currently. It's to become a momentum maker by the way of faith and curiosity for those who are looking to spread their message in a big way and make an impact in the lives for those who are trying to become the best version of themselves. This is what drives everything I do. And once you have sat down and really figured out what you're doing with your life, it makes business so much easier because it makes your decisions easier, right? And so that's why this is important. And I want to show you Aman's. So Aman's life purpose is to make a massive positive impact in the lives of 100 million people by empowering 10,000 entrepreneurs to work with 10,000 clients at a deeper level. So as we're talking about Ultimate Course Formula, know that the reason that it got launched, the reason that I believe in it so much, not just because I launched a course and I saw what it was capable of, but because both him and I believe that making this impact and going forward is how you become successful. It's how you make your business stronger. It's how you increase your income. It becomes the foundation of everything. All right, so this is me, and this is like what I do now. I'm the organizer of TEDxTenayaPaseo, which my event has now been put off twice because of COVID, but we are relaunching in January. So I work with my TEDx speakers. I'm also a speaking coach, so I work with TEDx level speakers and higher. It's such a phenomenal opportunity, and I love it so, so much. Like I said, stages are always my favorite. This is the biggest stage that I have right now. This is me on one of the smaller stages. This is Aman and I always put this picture here because it's literally my favorite picture because we're like playing Jenga. The photographer was like taking a picture of us. And then down in the corner, this is one of the teams that I work with. This is a Success Road Academy team. During this picture, Aman was in the hospital. He had been hospitalized, and the 5 of us ran a 3-day event teaching people how to build sales funnels, actually, which was super amazing. So I get to do all the amazing things because I took a chance, I built a course, I learned the system, and then I went forward in faith. All right, what does it mean to go online? Now we're going to get really into the nitty gritty of this. What exactly does this mean, right? I've said it a couple times. You're taking your passion, your knowledge, your expertise, you're putting it into a digestible platform for people. Now we can do this in a lot of different ways, right? Oh, look, a slide I didn't expect. I thought there was a different slide there. We can do this in a lot of different ways. And later in the presentation, we're going to talk about what you can include in your online course, what some of our favorite things are, and what's going to really work for your business. So when you create an online course, it creates a very passive stream of income. So this is a screenshot over, I believe, 5 days, 6 days. It's not a full week, but you can see through Stripe all of the payments. The reason that I show this slide is because people always ask, like, what does it actually mean? How does this show? How does a passive stream of income show up in the real world? It shows up like this, as notifications on your cell phone, right? If you like, look, the $197 is our course payment plan, then $997 is a full pay. There's one down here that's $12,999. That is mentorship one-on-one student. So, you know, this is what it looks like in the real world, where you wake up and the next morning and you have money you didn't know was there. And if you look at some of the times, like some of them, like there's one that's Sunday, I'm not quite sure where it is, but there's one Sunday at 6 a.m. Me and the team, we're sleeping on Sunday at 6 a.m. So this is real world, what a passive income looks like. So the biggest question right now, and go to the chat box and tell me, are you leveraging online courses in your business in any way, shape, or form? Jeff is anyone else? No. Awesome. So perfect. This is going to work out perfect for you guys to see how to really launch that first beta course. I have to close the chat box. There we go. So there's always the 3 biggest challenges when people are launching their first course. And if we're being honest, these are the 3 biggest challenges whenever you launch a course, whether or not it's your beta. These are always the things that people come up against. The first one is structuring the content. When you sign up for a college level class, you go, you register, and you pay. I promise you, the professor does not know exactly what he's going to teach. He might have a rough idea, like, hey, this is what the syllabus looks like. I know I'm going to teach this topic, but he does not have all the content ready. Don't think that your content structure has to be perfect before you launch. We actually have been known to do content the day before. We have launched courses. We've launched a course and sold a course within 8 hours. And then we've put together the content. Never ever think that your content is something that needs to hang you up. You know your knowledge, your passion, your expertise. You know your business. It's in your head. All you have to do is get it out there. So don't let that hold you back from launching your course. You're not sure if it's going to sell well. We're going to cover this. In our system and in the formula, there's a way to guarantee that it's going to sell. And we're going to cover this as well. Technology and marketing overwhelm. Your beta course, you don't need that much technology. The toolbox I'm going to give you is going to have a lot of technology in it, but don't think this requires an entire sales funnel and everything. It's very, very easy. You can eliminate a lot of the technology. And then as you start to launch more courses, the technology that you will need can be simplified a lot. So don't think that the technology and marketing is something that you should get stuck on as well. So here are the 8 steps. We're going to go through them one by one. Very quickly. Like I said, this is meant as an overview. I will give you the link for the webinar that will give you much more details on every single step. Okay, business model. There are 3 kinds of clients in the world. Those who are interested, those who are qualified, and those who are committed. So go into the chat box. Which one of these do we need? If we're going to launch an online course, which one of these do we need? Look at that, all of the above. So technically everybody is correct. You actually do need all 3. You get someone in who is interested in what you have to say, who you are. People buy into programs because they want to work with you, because you are giving them a vision of who they can become and what they will achieve, right? So that's where you grab their attention. Then you find out if they're qualified. And then they go down to the committed net level. Now, as you're growing your business, as you're launching your online course, if you have a higher end program, this is going to become much, much more important. But no, just to launch your course, you need all 3 people. So don't ever say no to yourself. If someone's interested in your course, awesome, because you definitely need all 3. Okay, so the irresistible offer. This is the fun stuff. Now we know we need all 3 clients, right, for the business model. So how do you find those interested people to get them in your funnel? How do you find the people who are like just enamored with who you are and what you have to say? These are called Amon's 8 golden questions. Now this is market research, and not market research in the way that we have been taught market research is. You are literally getting to know your clients. You are going to describe to them their pain in their words. If you were to go to the doctor, right, and you were to say, hey, I have a really, really bad headache, right? And the doctor says to you, oh, well, does it hurt like right here? Well, no, not really. Okay, so does it hurt like right here? Well, a little bit. Okay, is it a throbbing pain? Is it a stabbing pain? The doctor is going to ask you questions, and then you're going to just literally describe your pain to the doctor. Right? And then the doctor is going to provide you a solution. Oh, I think it's a stress headache. Oh, it's, you know, allergies, right? That's how the doctor diagnoses you. You're going to do the same thing with your clients. You need to find out where their pain is and then diagnose them, right? So the first question you ask, and what is the challenge you have in your business right now? Challenges, they can have more than one. Now, these questions should not be asked over Zoom. They should be asked on a phone call, and it should not be done via email. Why? Because you need to hear their narrative. You need to hear and write down the exact words that they tell you. That is so important. So the second question, what is the fears you have around your topic or your business? Not every client you talk to is going to own a business, and not every client you talk to is going to know their topic, and that is okay, right? So what is the fears that you have? Now, if you are creating a course, right? If you are creating a course around a certain topic and you are looking for these golden questions on that topic, then you want to ask people about that topic, right? So this can actually be used in both ways, and that's really important to note. If you are using it to directly find out what people think about your topic, then you need to ask them about that. So number one, what are the challenges that people are having around the topic that you're building your course around? Number two, what are the fears they're experiencing around the topic that you're going to build your course around? Number three, what's the frustrations around? Now, fear and frustration feels like it's the same thing. It's not. People change their wording, they change their narrative, they have different stories. Keep these separate. That's really, really important. Next question. If I were to build a course that would address all of these challenges, fears, and frustrations, what would you like to see in the package? Let people tell you what they want. I promise that no matter what course you build, it won't be what your clients want, because you're building it for you. Even if you don't mean to, you're building it for yourself. But once you find out, and I'm going to give you some examples of this in a little bit, but once you find out what your clients actually want, it makes building your course so much easier. So what are the features that you want in this course? Next, and this question, expect to spend some time on. What does your dream day look like? What are your aspirations? Why is this important? Because people are not actually going to buy your course to buy your course. People are going to buy your course so that they can live their dream life, because there is something else that they want. We actually joke in the company that people don't show up to our events because they like us. They show up to our events because we provide them with the blueprint. We provide them with the tools to go on and like live their dream life, right? That's what we're doing in the world, is we're making an impact on people to let them show up in the world and become the best version of themselves. So whatever they say their dream life is, that's what they're trying to achieve. Everything else is just a tool to get there. Now, based on what they said they wanted in their package, right? You say, if I were to create a package that had everything in it that you described to me, what would you pay for this package? Let people tell you what they would pay. You would be surprised at the answer. And I'm going to give you an example of this too, a really kind of funny story. But they will tell you what they would pay for the package they described to get to their dream life. And again, you're writing this down in their words exactly. Okay. Next, if I were to create a package with everything in it at the price that you gave me, would you be willing to be in my beta group? Now, pricing for beta group is always different. That's a separate conversation. But you want to know if these people would be willing to be in your first launch of the course. Why? Because now you have a list. You have a list of people who would be willing to buy into your course. And like I said, the beta group is always discounted. So it's not going to be, you know, that passive income stream on the first round. But these people become your referrals, right? They become your partners. They become people you can rely on. And that is very, very important. So now you found out what people's challenges, fears, and frustrations are. You found out exactly what they want on the package. You found out what they're trying to achieve. You found out what they would pay for a package, and you found out if they would take the course from you or not. Everything gets answered here. So now you have a spreadsheet with all of this information. Keep that. Every time you do market research, and if you are constantly doing courses, you should update your market research once a year. Keep all of your market research so you can always refer back to it. This is George. So he actually worked with Amon for a short period of time in fitness. George, as you could tell, is a fitness model, and he's a personal trainer. He was working in a gym like just in a gym with like doing personal training, right? And he was talking to Amon one day, and Amon was like, dude, why don't you go do market research? Like, find out what people would actually pay. Why are you charging like nothing? Why are you working so hard for what you do? You're amazing. He was like, no, people wouldn't pay, you know, anything. I'm stuck here. And he was like, no, go do your market research. So he did his market research, and he found out that people would pay him $400 per session for what he was offering and the results he could provide based on what he knew in nutrition and fitness. So he went from working for like 20 bucks an hour to $400 a session just because he did his market research. Like, people will pay, you just have to ask them what they were willing to pay. And George is fun, he's Russian, and like when he talks about this, he's very like modest about it. He's an awesome guy. All right, content structure. Remember I said earlier, we're gonna talk about some things you can include in your package. Now, keep in mind, you have asked your people what they want in a package. So you might see some of this, you might not. The first thing is live online classes via webinars and teleseminars. We do these. We have 2 signature programs on the lower end, one for speaking and one for course creation, and we do these. They are fantastic. It allows your audience to interact with you, ask questions, do all those nice fun things, and honestly I think they're fun. But you know, this again is your preference based on your market research as well. Online video, audio, and PDFs, content, right? It literally takes, if you know your content, which you all do, it takes 20 minutes to put together a PDF. Less if you already have it in a Word document or something else. You can provide that. Online support groups like Facebook groups. Facebook groups are the best. I love them so much because people can ask questions, you're building community, and you can get them to interact with each other. If you build a community, people will stay with you forever. People love community. So online support groups like Facebook groups. Small group support, so two-way communication. Also, like, you can do group calls that are not necessarily the online classes. So like mastermind calls or something like that. Not on a mastermind level, but something similar to a mastermind call. Accountability partners. We have actually tested accountability partners versus accountability groups, and accountability groups works so much better. Accountability partners, there's always like one person who doesn't return the calls or doesn't contribute, and the other person feels kind of left out and all of that. Accountability groups is awesome. I facilitate them for the company, and they are amazing. I always suggest accountability groups if possible within your structure. And then of course the one-on-one support. It's in here, and if you feel like you should do it, but one-on-one is really a higher end part of a package. When you're starting to sell your time one-on-one, that's not something that you should really do in a course. But if you're offering one call or one hangout or whatever, that's something you can definitely consider. Okay, course one pager. This is going to be everything you need on one page for your course. So what should be on this, and who are you giving it to, and why are you creating this? Number one, if you want people to promote you, you need to have everything about your course in one page, right? Number two, it helps streamline every bit of information you need to make your course successful. Number three, remember we talked about that funnel between the interested, qualified, and committed people? This is really going to help. As people come in and they're interested, you can refer back to your course one pager to get them on the other levels of that funnel. So what should be on your course one pager? Your program name. We actually have a naming formula, like how do you create the name for your course? It should always be 3 words, and that's something that the webinar goes a little bit into too. Who is the program for? But more importantly, who is the program not for? It is okay to say that my program is not for some people. And then let people self-qualify. You know, do I fall into this group or not? The outcome, what are they going to learn in the course? And this is so very important as well. You need to tell people obviously what they're going to learn. Remember we talked about their dream day? How does your course help them on that path to their dream day, to everything that they want to achieve, to who they can become? What they learn, right? What are they going to learn along the ways? This is right in there with features, right? What they're going to learn and the features of your program. This is not content. So don't let this hang you up. Like, what do you want to teach? Put it on your one pager. Like we talked about the college professor who like has an idea but doesn't have all of the content. This is your idea of what you're going to teach. It's not your content word for word. And then of course for the price. Remember I said before also that your beta group always gets slashed. We always suggest 50%, but it's whatever you're comfortable with. So your course one pager is going to include all of these things. Keep it on a Word document, keep it convenient. You're going to refer back to it. You're going to give it to possible people who will promote you. You might even give it to students like, hey, this is what I'm doing. You know, self-select if you're in that kind of interaction where you can provide it. This is Pat Iyer. Pat has such a narrow target market. So she created a course for report writing for legal nurse consultants. I didn't even know what a legal nurse consultant is because it is such a small piece of a target market of a target market. It's like this big, right? She ended up selling her course, and out of the gate, she made like $15,000. And she was talking about it one day, just like, oh yeah, I launched my course and I feel like it didn't do very well. And we were like, okay, well, tell us about it. And she was like, yeah, well, you know, I brought in like 15,000, and we were like, oh my gosh, like that's amazing. And she was like, yeah, but it's all amazing. So this is absolutely proof that no matter what your target market is, no matter what your topic is, there is room for your course out there. Truthfully, if Pat can do it for report writing for legal nurse consultants, see, it's such a weird target market. I have trouble saying it. And it's just for report writing for it. It's not even anything else. Literally, how do you write a report? It just makes me laugh every time. So know that no matter what, you can literally design a course for anything, no matter how small you think your target market is. All right, next one. This is the webcam that I'm currently using. This is also in our toolbox. We don't spend a lot of time in tech in this talk because number one, it's in the toolbox, and number two, I don't want to overwhelm anyone with tech. But if you're looking to buy a webcam, the webcam I suggest is the Logitech C920. There is a model that is higher, that's the Brio. I don't like it. We all use the C920 because it's the most effective. The Brio does record in 4K, but truthfully for your course, you don't need 4K. Okay, nothing about your course needs to be complicated. It does not need to be high tech. You just do it and you get it out there. You get feedback and then you fix it and then you do it again. So if you're looking for a webcam, if you don't already have one, this is a fantastic webcam. Membership platform. Where are you putting this stuff? Where's it all going, right? It all has to go somewhere to give your students access to it. We suggest Thinkific because it is easy, it's inexpensive, you can drag and drop, you can edit easily. It's a fantastic platform, right? They also, I believe, have a trial. I know at one point the trial didn't exist, but I think it's back. So you can actually go to Thinkific and see if they still have the trial. This is the platform we suggest for your membership area that you're gonna put your videos in, your PDFs, your audio, all of that. Now, if you're doing live classes, that will be on Zoom, or that will be somewhere where it can be interactive, and then you will upload your recordings to Thinkific. We use Digital Access Pass, which is integrated into WordPress for our website. I know how to use Digital Access Pass, but it's not what I used when I launched my course. I actually didn't even use Thinkific because I was trying to figure it out all on my own. And so I was like, I'll upload it in Google Classroom. And then that didn't work. And then I started emailing, and then I started putting it in the Facebook group, and I did all sorts of weird things. You don't need to go through all of that. Thinkific is definitely the way to go if you need a membership platform. So this is Luke. This is also another example of such a weird, tiny like target market. So Luke created a device that detects water and then sends that information to an insurance company, whatever insurance company like it's in sync with, that information to that insurance company without the homeowner actually ever having to do anything, right? But the problem was that the insurance companies didn't know how to do it. Like they didn't know how to use the information. They didn't understand like the whole process. So Luke created a course to teach the insurance people how to use his device that he created, right? You talk about like multi-leveled, like he's profiting from like all of the things that he did. So again, a very, very small target market and super successful with this course. So number 7. So number 7 and 8 is a lot of the tech. These are steps 7 and 8. We don't go into them a lot because, again, we don't want to overwhelm you with tech. But step 7 is the sales funnel, and step 8 is how do you get traffic to your course, right? So sales funnel and traffic. Now, if you remember, we talked about when you're doing your market research and you ask people, do they want to be part of your beta group? That is traffic, and that is word of mouth referrals, and that is all the things that we know about marketing, right? But number 8 traffic is referring to like copies and partners and like cold traffic and paid per clicks and all of that techie stuff. So don't let that overwhelm you. The most important thing you can do is get through steps 1 through 6, right? And then open it up and sell it. 7 and 8, you can always work on later. So again, more pictures just because I like them and they make me happy. Okay, so here is the link for the webinar. You want to go check it out because Aman explains everything in much greater detail. He gives you so much more information on each step to really, really make you successful in launching this beta course. Even if right now you take those 8 steps that I gave you on a very broad overlook, you take those 8 steps and you go out and you pick your target market and your topic and you go do your market research before you webinar, you are ahead of the game. Like you can do that and then come back and be like, okay, I'm going to watch the webinar now to get more of the information, right? And you can continue on your market research. And that's going to put you so far ahead. Market research is where people get the most hung up. We suggest you ask 8 to 20 people about your topic, but people have asked much, much more and gotten better results. So it's not something that like there's a limit on. So take the steps I gave you, go watch the webinar, get all of the information. Launching the course becomes the foundation of marketing for your business. You have the passive stream of income with it. People will get to know you from that course, and then that gives you leverage to build on that. Whether that's a higher end program, whether that's the one-on-one sessions I was talking about where you can sell your time one-on-one, whether you're building out a mastermind or a mentorship program, or you want to do a 3-day event, which right now are insanely profitable. Actually, Aman is running a 3-day event right now on how to do events. That's happening in the other Zoom room for the company. So, you know, whether you want to do any of those things, it all starts with building a course, right? It all starts with how do I take my passion, my knowledge, my expertise, put it into a digestible platform, get it out to people so that they become interested, they become qualified, they become committed to work with me because I know who they can become and what they can achieve. So go check out the webinar. I am going to grab the link to the toolbox that I promised everybody and drop that into the chat and then open it up for Q&A if anyone has questions.
Okay, Sarah, we're down to 5 minutes, so you've done great, and let's give Sarah a hand before we do anything else. Appreciate the talk. If you want to leave the screen up, or do you want to go to the?
I'm going to drop it in the chat box. I'll drop the link in the chat box as well.
Okay, great. So that's awesome. Thank you, Sarah. That was really good stuff. Let me do one quick announcement, and then I'll leave it open as long as people want to stay. We always end promptly at 1, so I want to make sure that I release everybody. But I do want to, if folks want to stay around or hang around and ask Sarah questions, I'll keep the Zoom open for a bit, so you can do that. Also, she's got the link out there now, so click on that link. And I encourage you, it's a clickable link. Any of those links that people are posting, click on the link, and then at least it's up in your browser so that when the Zoom is over with, you won't be scrambling around trying to figure out where, if you save the chat and all that stuff. So it makes it easier to do. So next week we have our speaker is Shawn Johnson, and she's going to be talking about intergenerational communications. I don't know about anybody else, but I have 5 millennial children, and communication tends to break down. So that's going to be our topic next Friday. And thank you, Jeff, for making that happen for me. And Sarah, again, did an awesome job. Anybody, that's really all the announcements I have. I put some links in the chat that you can also click on the success guide and some other things there, as well as the roster, the current roster. So if you don't have that, click on that. It'll take you to the Facebook group. If hopefully you're in the Facebook group. Anyway, but anybody have any questions for Sarah while we've got her attention? Randy?
Not a question, but as usual, you did an unbelievable job, and I took notes at the speed of light, but I can read them for a change because your speed was not so fast that I couldn't make legible notes. And with all the notes and with everything you said, it kind of made it sound like this should be a piece of cake. Obviously, there's a little bit more to it, but this, if we follow this recipe, the cake should come out pretty good.
It is. And the biggest, like I said, the biggest thing that hangs people up is their market research, right? Like getting people and then booking the call, that takes a little bit of time. And so people get stuck there and they're like, well, no one wants to talk to me. Well, I only posted it once. Well, you might have to post on your social media 3 or 4 times looking for someone. You know, you might have to reach out to people individually. That takes time and people get stuck there. But once you pass your market research, everything else is a breeze. Now I say that, but it's also a test, right? Like it's easier going forward, but then you're going to get feedback and you're going to go back to your course and say, okay, this didn't work. This didn't work. How can I change this? And so people kind of get stuck there with like, how do I adapt and how do I change my course based on my feedback? So as long as you're very open and just understand that sometimes it just takes time, then yes, everything else is easy.
Thank you.
Great. Lloyd, did you have something?
Yeah, I wanted to know where you're going to post the replay for this thing, because I can't write fast, but I wanted to hear what Sarah had to say again.
Screenshots.
So I need to know where.
Now I'll be sharing the recording of this Zoom within the next 24 hours probably. Normally it only takes, actually, believe it or not, the Zoom takes about 2 hours to render, which is crazy. But anyway, but once I get it,
a lot of bytes.
Once I get it
Where are you
rendered,
putting it? Where are you going to put it?
same place I always do, Lloyd. On the YouTube channel, and then I share it to the Facebook group.
Okay.
In fact, as we were talking about, I would like for everybody to go to the YouTube channel and subscribe and like it, so that we can get to a branded channel, so that it'll be even easier to find. But for right now, it'll be in the Facebook group. I even share it usually to my own personal page. So if you can,
We have a couple of YouTube channels, David. Which one do you want us to go to?
the one that has all the videos and all my podcasts. So
Do you remember the name of it? Oh, where Warrior versus
yeah, it's
Zombie
where
is?
Warrior versus Zombie
Okay,
is.
got it. I'm already subscribed.
Yeah, that's the only thing I put in that
Okay.
channel. Yeah, I think
Got
you
it.
already are, and I think
Yeah,
Jeff
I
is
am.
as well. So I know some of you have already done that. I appreciate that.
And
One subscriber at a time. Any other questions for Sarah?
just another Jeff, another winner.
Yeah,
You're
good job.
doing good, Jeff.
We're at 1 o'clock. Anybody that is needing to leave can feel free. Sarah, if you can hang on, if there's anybody has any questions. You know, it's kind of like when we were back in the room, you know, it was everybody rushed to the stage after the speaker was done and the meeting ended. But so we kind of accomplished that a little bit, and I leaving the Zoom open for a little bit in case anybody has any other questions. I don't want to cut it off.
Sarah, you did a great job. Great information. And I'll just let you know, this is the first one I'm going to replay. I'm actually going to go back and listen to. So I thought you had a lot of great information in there.
Right.
So I'm waiting for you, David, to get that up. Thank you.
Yeah.
I got to go. I have
All
another
right.
meeting.
See you, Lloyd.
Yeah.
Well,
Hey, Karen.
moving forward.
Great.
Yeah, Sarah, that was good. Good content. Very, very, you know, definitely was, I think, probably the most important thing that people need to realize is that it doesn't, you said a couple things that I thought were really important. One was it doesn't have to be fully cooked before you launch. And the other one is that you really do want to do some market research before you just think, okay, this is the class that I want. Even if your class is based upon your own journey, No, you need to really figure out who do you want to show up, and then start asking those people what, and I like the, and what would you pay? Because that's one that we often forget to do. What would you
Yeah.
pay for this? And sometimes people will lie to you, but for the most part, I mean, I think people will tell you the truth.
Yeah. And you can look at the different packages. So what's crazy is you always end up getting like really crazy price points. Like it will go anywhere from like 197 to like 3,000. But then you can cross-reference what they said they would want in the package. So then you can create a package that's within the right price point. So it all works out like with the question.
Right.
Right. So yeah.
And David, look in the chat. I sent you a private message. You can email me the response. Okay.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah. Probably shortly after this, Randy. I've
Okay.
I've got to go to my chiropractor. So.
Okay.
But
No problem.
But
It could be this weekend if that's more convenient.
no, it'll probably be before I do that. That's what I'm.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
So,
Sarah, keep us posted on any other of these kinds of things you would do.
I have a whole series of things that I do. So
Good. Let us know.
Awesome. I'm happy to come back whenever. I appreciate it.
you're in Las Vegas, right?
I am. Yes.
Cool.
Viva Las Vegas.
We'll have a couple of Sarah's colleagues that'll speak before some of their other events.
All right. And
So
then
it might
when
be Sarah,
COVID,
but it also might be one of the other folks.
then when COVID's over, we can all go to Vegas and see her
Yeah.
live.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
and I can help y'all do that.
I love
Yeah.
everything about that.
Yeah, Lisa could book the trip.
Yeah, Lisa will be our fund broker for that one. So.
There you go. Sounds like a plan.
All right. Any other questions?
All right.
There's a few folks.
Excellent.
Lisa, I know you're not on camera, but
Definitely worth a Friday afternoon,
good.
as
Thank
always.
you again, guys, so much. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you for giving me the time and the screen share and everything.
Thank you, Sarah.
Awesome. It was great.
Here's Lisa.
I'm
Very
going to head
nice.
off if there's no other question.
Okay.
Thanks, Sarah.
All
Enjoy
right,
your weekend.
bye.
Stay safe,
Have a
everybody.
beautiful weekend. Enjoy Las Vegas.
We'll see. I can't make that promise, but I will have a good weekend.
All right. Thanks,
Bye,
man.
guys. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, David.
And yeah, Jeff, I'm trying to get the calendar through October.